What you get video?
There's so many problems and challenges I know we face in Ghana. So I was like, if everybody goes, what would happen?
You had to face certain peculiar challenges because you're a woman.
I mean, people will speak to you on phone. They'll think that, oh, maybe you are one of the people working with the company. And then you set up a meeting, get there, and they're like, oh, I was expecting someone else to come.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, like, who were you expecting? In terms of women trying to do business, I would say you don't have as much time as the man would have. I have this philosophy that if someone is doing very well in life, it's either they are serving God or they are doing something else. And that something else can be principle or it can be another God.
Okay.
So if you are choosing your path, make sure you choose it well. But don't choose God and leave out principle.
Yeah.
Because the two work hand in hand.
People who want to start business in Ghana, I mean, well, they see an opportunity, they want to do something about it. But they don't exactly know the next actionable steps to take to move this solution they're trying to build into a business. How did you move it from an idea into a company?
After I'm done, they have to give me money.
Hello, Accra. Hello, world. So it's your boy Bill Cobner. You know what we do here? It's another exciting episode. I always say it's cliche to say this, but I'll say it again. Another exciting episode of the Perso podcast. And on here, you know what we do? We go behind the curtain, have fireside conversations with people who are making the world go round, entrepreneurs. And today's conversation is particularly one that strikes close to home. It's with a businesswoman I have had the opportunity to interface with on a personal level, business-wise. And I must say she's like an astute businesswoman. And I can't wait for us to delve into her story and understand the dynamic of the landscape from her. But today I'm going to do something different. Over the past couple of months, I've been held on chokehold, if so to speak, by a couple of letters John D. Rockefeller sent to his son. And I think they've been helpful to me, and I think it would be good to have you listen to them as well. But I'm going to read this excerpt from a letter dated from the November 9th, 1897. So in this letter, John D. Rockefeller, I don't know if you know, those of you who don't know John D. Rockefeller, just a Google away. But for an entrepreneur, you must know John D. Rockefeller, richest man in written history. So I'm going to read the excerpt of this letter, and it goes like this. I think that work is a privilege, as it brings more than just sustaining life. Work is the foundation of all businesses, the source of prosperity, and the shaper of genius. Work makes young people work harder and do more than their parents, no matter how rich they are. Work is expressed in the humblest forms and lays the foundation for happiness. A job helps to add flavors to life, but people must love work before it can return the biggest favors and achieve the greatest results. When I first entered the business world, I often heard that a person who wants to climb to the peak needs to make a lot of sacrifices. However, as the years passed, I began to understand that many people who were climbing to the peak were not paying the price. They work hard because they really like work. People who climb up in any industry are fully committed to what they are doing and are dedicated. Sincerely, love the work you do. You will naturally succeed. All right, guys. So do with this what you want to. And on to our conversation with Vanessa. Vanessa.
Hello.
Nice to have you around.
Nice to be here.
Great. So Vanessa is the CEO for VDL Fulfillment. I'll let her, we will delve into VDL, what VDL is about, but in a snapshot, VDL is essentially a fulfillment center that helps businesses to more or less procure and deploy their products to customers, right? So, great. Nice to have you, Vanessa.
Nice to be here. Thank you for the invite.
So Vanessa, take us back. Have you always been in Accra? Were you born in Accra? Were you raised in Accra?
I was born in Kumasi.
Okay.
I stayed in Kumasi for 15 years.
15 years.
Yes. And then I went to the UK to study for about 6 years. Then I came back to Ghana. So that has been my journey.
That's been your journey. Kumasi to the UK. Which schools did you attend?
So in Kumasi it was Najis Angels.
Okay.
At Santase. And then in UK it was Bosworth Independent College. And then there was Aston as well. Sorry, I missed out Abri Girls because
You wanted to go to Abri Girls so bad?
No, I did go to Abri Girls.
For how long?
For 2 terms.
Oh, when you
but
left.
If I don't mention it, my mates at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was in Abri Girls for 2 terms, and then I went to Bosworth Independent College in Northampton, and then I went to Aston, and then I came back.
Okay, so what did you study in college?
I studied business, so it started as fine art.
Okay.
And then I changed it to business.
Have you always had like the thing for business too?
I would say yes. It started pretty early, but I didn't realize. So I was more of I was more inclined towards the creative. So I sing, by the way.
Oh wow.
And then I paint.
Oh.
And I do makeup. And I do a lot of things. So from my childhood, I think I started pretty early. I started selling things to my mates, to my people in church.
Can you run us back to like the earliest experiences of you exploring business?
It's quite interesting. So I started by selling plywood because I realized, yes.
What age was this?
I was in class, was it? I think, no, I didn't start by selling plywood. That was in JHS.
You're selling plywood in JHS?
Yes, but I started in class 5. Was it class 5? I started writing a book.
Okay.
And then I realized that no, I'm not interested in writing a book. So I then went on to start making brooches.
Brooches?
Yes, to sell. And ribbons.
Okay.
Because I realized that it was something I liked to do, but I realized that people won't buy it if they knew it was mine. So I made it.
Okay.
So what I did was I went behind, made them sell it in a snack bar. And then I told them that they should just put it there. They shouldn't mention that I made it. If not, they will not buy it.
And people bought it?
Yeah, they bought it.
Okay, good money.
I made money from that.
So was it what drove you to that? I mean, if you just like making the brochures and these things, you can just make like a couple for yourself and your friends and you give them as gifts. But why did you want to sell them?
I don't know, actually. I really don't know.
You wanted extra cash for lunch?
I didn't need money. To be honest, I didn't need money. I think I had just grown up seeing my mom really take up the entrepreneurship.
What does your mom do?
So she's the owner of the school I went to.
Oh.
Yes. So basically I had seen her throughout my journey. Like running the school, doing business. Okay. And so it's just something I felt like I had to do, or it was part of what I had to end up doing.
And was she talking to you about business and entrepreneurship at that?
I used to see a lot of her meetings and be in them actually. So after school, I'll go to her office and then I'll be basically part of her meetings, even though I'm playing around and things like that. But I heard everything going on. Pardon?
You're an only child?
I'm the 4th of 4 girls.
4 girls. Yes. Okay. Your dad?
Yeah, my dad as well has passed too.
Oh, he's passed?
Yes.
Oh. When was this?
I think it was in 2021.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you think that's like affected your trajectory like as a person? How did that affect you?
I think it affected me positively.
Okay, how so?
Because I realized that, I've always known life is short, but I really started to understand what I was supposed to do, and I don't have a lot of time to do it. Yeah. And so every day matters. I live every day like it's my last. Wow. So it's something that has basically made me start thinking more about...
a sense of agency.
Pardon?
It's giving you a sense of agency.
Yes. That's if you need to do something, do it today or do it yesterday. It has to be done. Yeah.
Okay, so from selling brochures at the candy bar in school, to selling plywood in junior high school. How did that happen?
We were doing pre-tech, and I realized that people were struggling to buy their wood. So then I decided
the drawing boards.
Yes, the drawing boards. So I decided to tell my mom because I knew they had some wood lying around. So I just went to ask her randomly, like, are they using the wood for anything? And she said, no. Why? And I was like, I think I can do something with it. It was like, if you sell it, we'll share the money. So I was like, okay, no problem. I mean, let's do
Yeah.
it and see how things go. So
Okay.
it worked out. I mean, they all needed
So
the
wait,
wood.
did
so,
you just sell them the wood, or like you actually took it to a carpenter, they shaped
so
the
the
boards?
carpenter used it and then shaped the boards and then gave it to
So
them.
you sold a finished product.
Yeah,
That's exciting.
yeah.
And then what happens next?
And then I think what was the next part for me? I
So
think
after GHS, you go to a Brie Girls for 2 terms. No
Yes.
business happens in the Brie Girls, I guess.
no, Avery was
Transition. Okay, so you moved to the
it
UK.
was a lot.
You moved to the UK. Which year was this? You moved to the UK.
Which year did I?
How old were
move?
you?
I was 15.
Okay.
So
Okay. Pretty
I
young.
don't remember the year. I think it was 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I went to UK.
Okay.
But I think I really got a hang of. I mean, I did visual arts in Avery Girls.
Okay.
And then when I went to UK, I did fine arts because
Okay.
I wanted to do something in art. Basically, that's why I went there.
So you went to the UK to do something in art, and you ended up
Yes.
doing finance.
Yes. No, I ended up doing business.
What happened? How did that happen?
It took me not doing very well in art to realize that
Yeah.
to realize that okay, maybe it may take me a bit longer if I want to take this path, because in terms of my creativity, I still hadn't understood it at that point.
Okay.
That for me, it's more about replicating what I see. That's where I come in. But if I'm supposed to come up with something out of the blue, it can take me 2 years and I'll still not
Yeah.
come up with it. And so I hadn't realized that at that point, but I had to develop work in
Okay.
fine art, right?
Okay.
And I would do something, and then the grade I'll get, I'm like questioning myself, am I supposed to do it? So it really got me to start thinking about what I was supposed to do and whether it was the right path for me.
Yeah.
And so I just started to throw it out to God and then ask him, like, what am I really supposed to do? Because I don't want to go on this path and then later realize that I'm not
When we
supposed
take this
to.
path.
Pardon?
You're not supposed to take the path.
Yes. So that's basically how.
So you
it
started
changed
taking
into
courses
business.
in like finance.
No, so then I
business.
changed my. So I was doing GCSE,
Okay.
and then I decided to do the foundation year
Okay.
instead of doing A1, A2.
Okay.
So I did the foundation year, and as part of that, I decided to do business because I think, I just decided to do business because
Just do business.
Yeah.
Do you think like the
'Cause I
prior
wasn't
experiences informed
Yes.
that decision? Okay.
Yes, because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, but I knew it was business.
Then what was your
So
mother saying in all this? Like your mom?
my
your
mom,
dad,
she was very supportive. She's been so supportive.
Do you
in
feel like they
everything.
give you a certain freedom to make your own decisions and explore?
Yes, definitely.
They did.
There wasn't something that they would say, oh, like go and do this or make sure you do
Yeah.
this. If not, it was just about doing well in whatever I decided to do. So if I wanted to do business, make sure you pass. Because the fees you are paying is not a joke. Yeah, so that's
probably,
basically it.
I might forget this question. Having said like you've dabbled in like being like a painter, someone artistic, right? You know Paul Graham, he's the founder for YC.
Yeah.
And he's a painter himself. And then he has this essay. He puts poets, philosophers, painters, and entrepreneurs in the same box. Do you agree?
In the same box.
Yeah, he thinks that they are, what's the word? Triggered by the same flavor, more or less. They are of the same flavor.
I think you need some form of creativity to do business.
Yeah.
So I mean, everyone defines it in their own way. If that's how he wants to define it,
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Anyway, cool. So we proceed. So you are doing finance in what's the school again?
Please, it wasn't finance. So
Business.
I'm not a finance person.
And in business, and but you didn't major in finance or anything.
No.
Okay.
It was
so
management.
management.
Yes.
Okay. So after school, so did you start while you were studying? Did you try building anything? Did you start any business while in school back then?
So because again I was a creative, I was still trying to think around, is this supposed to be what I'm doing already? Things
Yeah.
like that. And I realized that no, it wasn't supposed to be any of that. Anytime I try and think about something, it's like nothing will come out of it. So later I just decided to just school and see how things go. And then I realized there was an opportunity. Again, I think I started realizing opportunities very early
Okay.
and problems. Like anytime I see a problem, I want to solve it.
Okay.
And there's a reason why I would want to solve that problem. So I'll try and solve it in my own way. So I think it was in church where I realized people were waiting outside for a long time and they were selling different types of food. So I was like, okay, I don't see anyone making jollof. So
Oh.
so let me go and make jollof and see how things go. You know, so I started selling jollof at that point in church.
So you're making the jollof yourself and selling?
Yes.
That's interesting. How did that go?
Pretty well.
Okay.
I mean, I was able to save some money, like some good money.
Hustler, yes, a real hustler.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're selling jollof in school. I mean, you should probably still consider that business if you're not ready, if you're not in it already.
I've always said I wanted to do something in food.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it in my own little way now.
We should have a conversation after this.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And this is me inviting myself to ask come and eat jollof. Yeah. Anyway, so you're done with school at this point. What happens? I know you what's the interned? Worked a while.
Yeah.
How did that look like?
So I was supposed to do a work placement in any company.
Okay.
So I decided that if I'm supposed to come back to Ghana and work, which was always my mindset, right?
Why?
I just knew I wasn't supposed to be in the UK. I just knew it.
Most people will like thank the heavens to be anywhere outside Ghana.
Yeah.
And I mean, we are experiencing a certain exodus of like young people fleeing, so to speak, this country, right? And I mean, you're someone who has had opportunity to school there, probably have better chances of thriving in the economy and working, and you decide to come back.
I had 2 years that I could work there, but
okay.
No.
No, why? Was it family, or you felt like
no,
there was important work waiting for you in Ghana?
Yes, because there's so many problems and challenges I know we face in Ghana. So I was like, if everybody goes, what would happen?
Yeah.
You know? So for me, I knew that I was just in the UK to study.
Okay.
And so after my time there, I started to look for opportunities to build my career in Ghana.
Okay.
So my family is in Kumasi, but I decided that if I want to work, I would have to come to Accra. I don't know why or what made me, but I knew I had to come to Accra to find work to do.
Okay.
And so I started talking to people, telling them that I needed to do my placement. And so, like, is there anywhere they would recommend? And I ended up applying to the German Chamber.
German Chamber of Business?
Yeah,
of Commerce. Of
Yes.
Okay.
And then I worked there for some
Which year was this?
That was in 2019.
Okay. So you're here in Ghana, German Chamber of Commerce. I'm sure it was like it had great, what was it called? Privileges and compensations. What happened?
I mean, it was unpaid, actually.
Unpaid?
Yeah.
Work placement.
It was
unpaid.
an internship.
Oh.
So it was more like, actually, before the work placement, I wanted to intern.
Okay.
Right, because I had some time before that, and so I asked them if I could intern with them before the work placement started. And so for the internship, I wasn't paid. I just wanted to go and see how things go, right? But then it was after I finished that I started getting paid.
Okay, so while you're there, did you know you're going to leave the place after your work placement, or you wanted to like stay a while?
I didn't know what would happen. I was just going with the flow, to be honest. Like if I stay, I stay. But I knew that eventually I would want to do something of my own.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Okay, so what happened after you're done?
So
what happened?
When I was done, I went back to school.
Okay.
To complete my 4th year. But before I went to complete it, I had already started VDL. Yeah, so.
That's interesting.
What
you get VDL?
I think the challenges I went through in Ghana trying to place orders online. Yeah, and also being exposed to the tech startup ecosystem.
Okay.
Yeah, so that basically made me want to do something about that.
You ordered a shoe and then they brought you a football. I mean, it happens a lot. You order something and they bring you something else.
it was more to do with the time for me. They'll tell me they are coming, they are bringing the thing.
Yeah.
And then they come back at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Maybe they call me at 10 o'clock, they are bringing something. I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for you. Then I get up, I put my phone somewhere, and then 5 o'clock is when they are calling me. They've called me like 10 times, and then they are annoyed because I don't answer the phone. So I had too many of those experiences, but I was like, just maybe I can do something about it. So let me just start something small by doing a test. So I actually didn't start by buying a bike.
Okay.
I started by renting it just to know how things would go. And then when that worked...
So the bike was receiving deliveries from businesses?
Yes.
Okay.
So then I created a page, started telling people about the business, and then started doing active marketing. Funny enough, I didn't go through my friends.
Why?
I've always had this thing. I don't know why, but I don't want people to do favors for me and then later come and say, oh, I came to them. Yeah, I want to see how it will go myself. Like, I want to try it myself to see how it will go. So I didn't even tell a lot of people that I was starting it. I just created a page.
So it means you're still a student at this time?
Yes.
Okay, you left with a year left?
Yes.
Okay.
I created a page, didn't tell my friends. I put the name there, started posting, started doing business. And sometimes my friends will even message me, they wouldn't know it's me.
Oh. Okay. So so basically you had the biker who was doing, or bikers, or just a biker?
I started with one
bike. You rented the bike?
Yes.
How is that going to work out? So you work the rent bike for a day, a week?
So I rented it for a week.
And you had
but
your
you
own...
pay per day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point, the bike came with the biker? Or just the bike?
Yes,
you had to find your own biker
the bike came with the biker at the time.
So you didn't have to pay the biker?
No.
Not even from like the deliveries?
No. I just had to know that for this day, this is how much I'm going to spend.
Okay.
So I had to make sure that whatever I'm going to make back is more than that amount.
So you're contacting the businesses that you had a delivery business for them? Is that what you're doing?
Contacting which businesses?
I mean, you were taking orders and delivering.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, so what I did was I started messaging businesses directly to tell them that this is an interesting business. So message the business. So I'll message with my personal account. I'll message with my personal account. I'm always trying to find strategies and ways of making things work by all means. Yeah. So if it means I'm putting myself out there to say I'm recommending a business, I'll do that. Yeah. So I'll message you with my personal account, or you see my DP, or you see my face there, and you go like, oh, okay, customer. Yeah. Then you go and check the message, because if you see it's a business, you may not respond. Yeah. So that was one of the ways I started, and yeah.
Okay, so the business started contacting your business.
Yes.
To send products to deliver to your clients.
Yes, to their clients.
Okay, cool. So now you did this while you were here in Ghana doing your work placement.
Yeah.
The progress was good, I'm sure.
Pretty good, very good.
So you left to go and finish school.
Yeah.
And then you managed to come back to continue the business.
I was still actually doing it while
How are you doing that?
So I ended up buying the bikes.
Okay.
And then I had people working with me. The only thing was they were working remotely.
Okay.
Yeah, so they weren't working in a station place. So they were all working from different places. And I was tracking everything from UK.
Okay.
So after some time, I came back. After I was done, I came back. And I decided that at the point where I came back was when I realized that, okay, we need to stop doing this normal delivery, pick up and drop off. We needed to stop that because there were a lot of challenges with that. Maybe I've jumped ahead of the questions you want to ask.
Don't worry, we will do that. Okay, so did you work a while after school in the UK, or you came straight back?
I came straight back.
Okay, and then you came for VDL. That was the plan.
Was it really for VDL? I came back.
You came back, okay.
Yeah, I came back.
Now you have this business going on. What are some of the challenges you faced with, the early stage of the business at the time?
Plenty challenges.
Touch on a few for us.
So there were accidents, vivid pictures. When they have accidents, they'll send you pictures. They won't just tell you and let you be. They'll send you pictures. You have to pay hospital bills. You pay insurance. The insurance company will not refund you. Like, too many issues, The rider will take money, not bring it back. Like, at least by God's grace, there was no, there was nothing like theft with the riders.
Okay.
When it came to doing business with me. But I know other businesses encountered that they'll steal their bike, they'll steal their money, run away. It didn't happen with me, thankfully.
Okay.
Yeah, but the other
Okay, so you
challenges
decided you're going to rectify these problems. And to do that, you more or less like pivoted your business model to what it is now, which is a fulfillment center. How is that different from the regular delivery business?
Okay, so as part of the challenges, I realized that the riders...
Which year was this?
This was in 2021.
And how long has the business been at this point?
1 year.
1 year, okay, cool.
So as part of the challenges, I realized that because the riders were picking up and dropping off from multiple places, it wasn't going to be very sustainable for them to be able to do as many deliveries as they would want, I would want them to do, because they have a daily target. And so I realized that they would have to then pick up from a central point and deliver.
Okay.
So it was something that we had started rolling out. So
you're basically cutting off the many to many from one to many.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so then we started reaching out to the businesses in our network to tell them that this is what we are doing now, warehousing service, where you can keep your products with us so that we deliver for you. Initially, when we started doing that, a lot of businesses were not interested because they want to handle their products themselves.
Okay.
How credible are you to be able to trust you with their products, that you would know which product to pick at which point, you know, package the way they want it to be packaged. Some of them is very customized. Every product is unique, you know, so you can't even package it for them because if they send you a picture, you may not get it right. So it was very complicated in the beginning, but I decided to do research on it and find out how I could leverage on that to be able to build a business. So I had to put a hold on everything.
Okay. So you put a hold on the business, but the business was still running, or you put a hold on the transition?
I put a hold on everything because my last rider also got an accident. So it put everything on hold. Automatically.
So how did you go about the research? Are you speaking to like warehouse owners or what exactly? Because are there a lot of fulfillment centers in Ghana?
Oh no, I think we are the first.
Yeah, it's like a niche.
Yeah, we are the first. But a lot of delivery companies are doing something similar. But labeling it as warehousing. So then they'll keep your products and then they'll deliver. But it's a bit more complicated than just keeping the products.
Okay, so who did you speak to? This research process, how did that happen?
So I was just searching online, watching videos, reading papers on things that had been done to evolve logistics, you know, and I realized that there was...
I really doff my hat for what you're doing in like generally, because we are in a system where the logistics infrastructure is like terrible. Like in the deployment, I really doff my hat like founders who are building businesses in that logistics sector. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
It's crazy. The Lord is your strength.
You are delivering to people.
Yeah.
You are always calling them. They won't answer.
And our routes are terrible.
Yeah.
Networking, it's bad. Okay. So now you try to do research. You put a hold on. How long did you put a hold on the business?
Like maybe 2 months.
2 months. And you did the research. You came back to, okay, now this is what you want to do. You want to cut off the many to many to one to many.
Yeah.
And basically be a peripheral for all these businesses. And they will just think about, okay, we have an order here, let's apply here. And then the back operation is on you.
Yes.
Okay. At this point, your initial business is not running. You've been out of cash flow for two months, right? How did you go about this next phase? How did you start it? Because now you have to rent a space. Initially, you didn't need to get a space. Now you need to rent like a whole space.
Yeah.
Real estate is now involved, right? Did you have to raise initial capital to get that done?
Yes, I did.
Okay, how did you go through that process?
So I mentioned it to a couple of people in my network that this is what I wanted to do.
Okay.
But it was also good for them to know my work ethic, because you can't just go to someone and say, give me money and they'll give it to you. Especially if they are not family, you know. So for my family, I decided that today it's not my family's matter. I need to do it myself, you know. So then I started speaking to people, but because of my work ethic, I think it spoke some length for me. And so I started reaching out to people, and one of the people was Box Play Ventures.
Okay.
So I worked with him in my previous workplace, German
Okay.
Chamber. And because he knew about my work, he decided that he would give me some money to see how things go.
Okay.
Because he had also checked our records, checked our financials, everything was intact. He thought that it was a very viable business to be in.
Okay.
And so after doing his own due
Due
diligence,
diligence.
yeah, he decided to give us some funding to be able
Okay.
to do
Have
that.
you had to raise subsequent financing after him? After that round?
We've not raised after, but we
Okay.
are looking to.
Two.
We are
Okay.
looking to. Yeah.
Okay. We'll touch on all that. So now you have financing from Boxplay Ventures, right? Are they a VC?
No, they are like an angel investor slash venture builder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You're like a VC, more or less.
Well, okay. So I would say it was him personally.
Okay.
Yeah,
So like
that
an
gave
angel
us.
round.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, I get it. Okay, so now you receive this financing. I'm sure next thing you rent a space.
Yes, from
Or
my house.
or from your house.
No, from my house to the space because I was
Okay.
doing it in my house
Okay.
before I decided to get the space.
So you're the only person working, or you just
Yeah,
had
I was the only person.
and you didn't have riders at the time, or
No,
you had riders.
I
So how are you
didn't have.
delivering?
God. So sometimes I'll do the deliveries myself.
Okay.
And then as part of that new phase, I decided that because of what happened with the riders, let's try it with a car.
Okay.
So even though it was looking very impossible, it worked
Okay. So like
with one car.
oh.
Yeah, so I got a car for the business, and then I got a driver to handle the deliveries. And so we'll give him
But wasn't
maybe
like the because I mean bikes are faster, given
yes,
traffic in a car and all
yes.
that. But you
But
decided
I
to
didn't
still
think it was worth the risk
okay.
for me to employ people and have them ride
Right.
for my business. So at least I wanted to try using the car to see how things would go.
Okay.
And so we got the car, got a driver. We'll give him deliveries in a specific area. Then he'll go to that area and do the deliveries. If there's extra for another area, we'll give it to another rider who is not giving us anything. We'll just give him the money just to see how things will go.
Okay.
Right. So we did that for some time and then moved into the new space. And then
Okay.
things evolved.
Okay.
From
So
there.
now, how did you get these businesses to trust you? Because I mean, you had made the attempt, and then like there was like a certain hurdle. How did you push back on that? Like, how did you get them to trust that? Well, we can let this company handle our back side operations.
So I think for us, because they really have nothing to lose,
Okay.
the only thing they may lose is maybe their products. But because some of them had worked with us previously, it was more like a foundational ground for them to be able to do business with us. So we worked with our previous customers and then informed them that this is what we are doing. And for the people that were doing pretty well with like giving us a lot of orders, we would intentionally try and build that relationship with them so that we could increase. I'm saying we, but it was me. I've said we so much.
Wow. So so at this point, wait, from now it's been 4 years, right?
Yeah.
How many companies you work with?
How many companies do I work with?
Yeah, like businesses you take orders from.
Oh, okay,
businesses, yes.
About 100.
Wow.
Or more. It's more than 100.
So like you book like 25 partners every year.
Yeah.
That's wild. How many employees now?
30.
From 1 to 30 in 4 years.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Great work.
Thank you.
I see. So now, do you have riders now?
We don't.
You don't.
So we have third-party riders. So
Okay.
the riders that work with us either work for themselves or they work with delivery companies.
Okay.
And then
So
they
if
pick
you-
up from
Okay, so you've
us.
relieved yourself of the burden of like owning that asset.
Yes, because of scalability.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool. I see. That's why I'm working with you on that, right?
yes.
Cool. That's exciting. So now 30, so wait, the 30 employees, everybody is like involved, like the packaging and like the distribution and stuff like that. Oh, cool.
So we have the operations, which involves logistics, rider management, inventory, and then the call center.
Have you tracked the number of orders you make? Like
The
you've
number
made
of
over
orders.
the period, over the last 4 years?
The last 4 years,
Is it difficult?
it will be about 80,000.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I have a lot of. I mean, I was telling someone that
Yeah.
if I search for his number, I'm sure I'll find it. But
Okay.
I think the age ranges of people who order things online are probably quite old, because if you use Facebook ads or if you use Facebook, you would end up ordering from a lot of Facebook ads. So
Yeah,
that age range is a bit higher than the usual.
I see. So, what does the future look like for you, honestly, with regards to VDL? You guys are you just in Accra?
We are in about 12 regions.
Wild.
Yeah.
That's wild. I'm actually really impressed because it's a logistics in this country is a scary place, and you seem to be thriving. Like you're thriving. I mean,
By God's
you're
grace.
thriving in a dry and testy land, and you haven't had a need to raise subsequent financing.
Yeah.
Not even like from debt from banks or subsequent checks, just revenue and reinvesting and growing.
Yeah.
That's very commendable.
Thank you.
I mean, I've checked out I've had the privilege of like having conversations with your business, and I realized that you have a lot of like foreign partners, like foreign business you're doing distributions for.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that? Is it that they are more open to the idea than like the local ones, or
I think we haven't intentionally created awareness in Ghana
okay?
because of the challenges I faced earlier. You know, everyone's business is unique.
Yeah.
And before they even work with you, you need to sell them the idea that it's better to work with us instead of doing it yourself, because most of them probably have a rider they work with or things like that. And so the businesses in other countries are looking for partners in Ghana to do business with. And so we found that if we make ourselves more visible to them, it would help us to be able to do the work we need to do as we are trying to also work with the Ghanaian businesses.
Have you had to face certain peculiar challenges because you're a woman doing this whole entrepreneurship thing?
I mean, yes, I wouldn't call them challenges.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for me, anything that I put my mind to, I'll make sure I do it. So even if it means I have to, like you saw or you heard,
But like
some of the things I do.
But then you admit that there's certain barrier, like gender specific.
Yeah, there is definitely a barrier. I mean, people will speak to you on phone. They'll think that, oh, maybe you are one of the people working with the company. And then you set up a meeting, get there, and they're like, oh, I was expecting someone else to come. And I'm like, okay, like, who were you expecting? Then we just laugh about it, and then we'll move on. But I guess it's just something we need to accept, that this is something
culture.
that is happening. But for me, I'm not going to conform to what everyone thinks. If I'm doing something, you can know about it. If you are happy to work with us, that's okay.
Okay, so how do you manage like the spread across Ghana, like 12? Do you visit all the regions from time to time?
Yeah, I do.
So how do you create that uniformity? I think one challenge I'm speaking to people who run sort of like franchises of sorts, is like creating uniformity, especially here in Ghana. How do you go about that? Like you organize workshops. Like how does that happen for you?
Okay, so I think what has really helped us in terms of our foundation is our technology.
Okay.
Yeah, because once you have access to it, everything is quite straightforward. We just need to show you how to use it.
Okay. So you had to build your own tech.
Yes. Because
did you learn to build on your own, or you had?
Oh, we have a CTO. We have a chief technology officer who handles that. But sorry, where were we again?
How you essentially create uniformity across the various.
Yes. So I was saying that we train them on how to use the app, and then make sure they are using it the way they are supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I see your dad passed in 2021. At the time you started the business.
Yes.
But then you were still in school?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of things happening.
He didn't get to see all this. How does your mom feel about it?
He did see it.
In parts.
He did. I think he saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes in our conversations you mention it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I see it happening now. So
okay. Cool. And how does your mother feel about all this? How is she being?
I think she's very happy, because
Okay.
she sees one of her daughters doing something. I mean, all her children are actually entrepreneurs. If
Oh,
I'm
she
yeah,
spawned her kind.
yeah, and
Okay.
she's been so supportive. So
Cool.
she's really happy seeing us thrive in what we are doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're married.
Yes.
How long now?
2 years.
2 years. You're married to another entrepreneur.
Yeah, something like that.
How has marriage like changed the your landscape for you? How has that affected? Like,
I think it was in terms of business.
mm-hmm.
My husband has been very supportive because his background is also in technology,
Okay.
and so he really helped us to put together the framework
For the tech.
that we use for the technology. So I think that in terms of marriage, it's really helped me to
Yeah.
at least be able to identify certain things. If I didn't know something, it has helped me to like grow 5 years ahead of what I would have done because he's had so much experience on how to build technology.
Okay.
And so I just keep learning. I have a lot of mentors, and I'm blessed and
Yeah.
lucky to have such people around me to guide me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What do you do when you're not running your business? Your free
What do
time?
I do?
Yeah, when you're not running your business.
I go for rehearsal at church.
Hmm.
I sing, and then I go swimming.
Do you still paint?
No,
Oh. Because I have like
I'm hoping to start again, but when I see the paint bottles and how long it will take me,
we will need something from you in the studio. Just paint something for
and
us.
how long it will take me,
We are very patient people.
because sometimes you have to sit down for 8 hours straight,
Yeah.
and that 8 hours is hard to get now.
Yeah.
So yeah. we'll
So
get back to
what
it.
does the next phase of video look like? What's the plan over the next 3, 4, 5 years? What do you
Okay.
envision?
So the next plan, we want to focus a lot more on our technology
Okay.
to be able to license it to other businesses that want to do
Oh,
it. So
that's a great model.
yeah.
Wow. Please go ahead.
Yeah, because we've built our software in a way that is very tailored to the African market. And so you'll be able to handle storage, packaging, delivery, customer service, and then be able to help businesses to do business anywhere they are.
You're really building the African Amazon. I don't know if anybody has told you that.
Yeah, I've heard it a couple of times.
Yeah, because yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
I see.
tailored solution. So that's something we are looking to do. Another thing we are looking to do is retail distribution.
Okay.
So helping companies to be able to deliver to their retail customers.
Okay.
But it's something in the pipeline.
Not just the
working on.
last man. Kind of just delivering to the last man. Is that not
Yes, we are doing last mile now. But we
okay.
also want to think about how we can do retail as well.
I think that should be easier.
It is easy. You just need capital. So
That's what you're going to raise the financing for to scale on that.
yeah, more for the technology and for creating awareness.
I see.
Yeah.
Please, when it's time for the fundraising, please let me know.
we are already fundraising.
Okay, you're pre-seed or
Yeah.
pre-seed? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's exciting. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a particular question I want to ask, right?
Okay.
A couple of 3 questions, more or less. And the first one is, what does success mean to you, right? At what point would you say, well, I've hit the nail on the head with this one?
That's the first question.
That's the first question.
Okay. I think success is really me seeing that things are happening the way I envisioned it. Where my mind has gone is very far. So for me to be able to see it happening is success. At every stage, there's a certain level of success I need to see. So now I think in terms of success, where I wanted to get to by this time, we've probably passed there.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think it's a growth thing. As I see growth and little milestones, it makes me excited.
You come off as a religious person, I mean, going for a rehearsal in church, starting a jollof business in church, which the Lord Jesus is going to whip you about.
I mean, yeah, it's the foundation.
Yeah. What role does like spirituality or religion play in your life?
A very big role. Yeah, because everything I'm doing is through guidance. I don't just do something.
Okay.
Because life is spiritual. Before we're here, we didn't even know that we'll be here. But all of a sudden, I find myself in this country at this time doing this, so nothing happens by chance, So I try as much as possible to not live without knowing what God is saying about my life at every point.
I see. That's interesting. And I mean, you've already touched on the fact that your dad's passing has given you a certain sense of urgency, right? And generally, how do you view death? I mean, that one day, you all come to an end, so to speak. How does that? What two things? Number one is, what's your take on beyond death? How do you process that? And the second thing is, how does that affect you as a person, right? And how you're conducting your life now?
Okay. Can you say the first question again?
Okay. The
So I
first,
can answer the first
yeah.
question.
So the first part of the question is that, I mean, you're a religious person, you're supposed to be a spiritual person. How do you process death? To you, what is it? What happens? Like beyond the yonder, beyond the great river, what do you think
Yeah.
happens? And how does that affect your life as an entrepreneur, as a wife, as a mother now?
Okay.
Yes.
So I think what happens after is a reflection of how we lived our lives here. And so, yeah, basically just do what you can do to make sure that you are in line with whichever. If you believe in God, make sure you are doing it very well. You know, don't say you're a Christian, but there are certain things you let go of easily.
Yeah.
If you are doing something, just make sure you're doing it well. Because I have this philosophy that if someone is doing very well in life, it's either they are serving God or they are doing something else.
Else,
And
yeah.
that something else can be principle or it can be another God.
Okay.
So if you are choosing your path, make sure you choose it well.
Well.
But don't choose God and leave out principle,
Yeah.
because the two work hand in hand.
Okay.
You can't choose God and not be hardworking.
Wow. So, last words to like people who are listening, or watching, especially the women who want to start business or do business, and are somehow not making the move, and people who are already in the space making the move, and then the hustle and bustle of being an entrepreneur. Who in your
Yeah.
last words?
So in terms of women trying to do business, I would say you don't have as much time as the man would have. In terms of when you get married, you probably give birth, and if you don't, you would have more time to be able to do something. But if you're going to give birth when you get married, your timing is different from that of a man. So you need to have that in mind, that if you want to do something, start early. Don't try and do it when the issues of life or the things in life start coming in your way. Right? And make sure you have a lot of support. Because as a woman, you can't do everything yourself. We know you're a superwoman. I mean, yeah, it's good to be a superwoman, but just admit to yourself that you need support. And so find ways of getting that. If it's from family, if it's from friends, it would really help you to go a long way. And about starting things early, it's better to start when you are in school.
Okay.
For me, that's what I think, because you have a lot more disposable income as a student than when you finish, because you don't know what's happening after, unless maybe somebody has given you an offer whilst you are in school. But usually you wouldn't know what would happen. So as much as possible, because the network is already there, the people are there, try out things, test out your ideas before you step out into the big blue sea.
Wow. I'm so convinced that you're building the next Amazon, and I'm ready to buy stock now. Buy stock now. There's this thing, last one. I know I've said last one too many times. I'm just impressed. Is people, especially people who want to start business in Ghana. I mean, they see an opportunity, they want to do something about it, but they don't exactly know the next actionable steps to take to move this solution they're trying to build into a business. Do you remember how that was for you? That phase was like for you? Well, you were ordering hair online, and then at 10 a.m. and they were bringing it to you at 12 midnight, or you're ordering a balloon and then they bring you a football, and you say, okay, well, there's a problem. I want to fix this problem. And then now you take actionable steps. Now it's a business. You have 12 branches across Ghana, 12 regions, so to speak. How did you move it from an idea into a company? Like, do you remember that? Who did you speak to? Where did you go? How am I incorporating my business? Like all of that. Do you speak
After
to
I'm
lawyers?
done, they have to give me money. I mean, for a more detailed one, maybe we can have a conversation later. But in terms of summary, I would say first of all, the problem is important. You
Yeah.
need to really understand what the problem is and who your customers are. Once you don't understand that, everything else you're doing is a bit you basically.
You look like someone who can speak to you. Hey, you crash me.
Yeah, so just make sure that you really understand what you're doing, and don't try and, especially for the tech guys, don't try and build tech before you try and understand the problem, right? You need to understand what you are building first of all before you get into the
fancy
tech.
products.
Yeah, and then see it happening manually before you now translate it into the technology.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things you realize later that if you don't solve in the manual stage, it would have been too late by the time you're done.
Vanessa, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you for having me.
I'm personally inspired.
Thank you for having me.
We're going to have you again. And by then, probably you are skilled to other countries. And all the best with the company and the products you're building.
Thank you.
And God bless you so much.
God bless you too.
Guys.
Thanks for having me.
So, this is at the end of the road. We have a conversation with Vanessa again. I'm so sure about that. So, you know how we do. Do it. Thanks.